Hello, everyone. It's Joe for the Cranky Old Gay Guy. And today I am going to be talking about despair, which I believe is defined as the utter lack of hope. I know that a lot of people in the world have despair right now. Um, I don't know if I've ever reached the utter lack of hope, but I do know that I've gotten close, I think, for an hour or two, or I think at one point even days. Off and on. My eyes are pink because I know this is going to be an emotional thing to talk about for me. Um, and then I'm going to try to tell you how I got out of despair. Um, Initially, in I'd say 1994, I had a run in with a trampoline, meaning an accident, where I was broken in half and I became crippled. And while I was drugged up in the hospital, it didn't seem to bother me. But once I was released and I was in a body shell, just sitting at home doing nothing, um, it got really tough. But this was 94, and Turning Point, hosted by Jane Pauley, came on the air. And I watched that, and she talked about what turning points were. And I had to think about that. And I thought that that injury was now a turning point for me. And it made me think that there are other things I can do and move on and get better. And things looked up from then on. I didn't treat it as a negative so much as a turning point, opening a new door, being able to go in a new direction. Just a moment. Teared up in my sinus. Um, but I looked at it that way. And from that point forward, financially, I was dead broke. Shuffling bills back and forth, which to pay, putting things on a credit card, and then writing a check against the credit card to pay off whatever it is, and put that on another card. And I went back and forth for a while. And that, by the way, is really strenuous. It buys you a few months, but it doesn't clear up your debt. That was a while. I had to get once I started working again, then I actually start paying things off. And financial stress is a killer. I'll give you that. um, about 4 years ago, in 2020 of October, um, I lost somebody, and it was very, very traumatic for me. And I did feel despair, and I wondered if there was something I could have done. Um, could I have been more vigilant? Talk to them more? Is there any way that I could have prevented what happened? And looking back, I'd have to say that no, there isn't. Um, it was a lot of grief that month for me. Shortly after that, I also had to put down my cat, which was it was tough too. I'd had her for 14 years, or him for 14 years. But losing this person, I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. Uh, I did have a friend that I called who came over and spent a few hours with me, so I wouldn't be alone. That was part of the police were here, and they brought out a social worker, a volunteer from the county, I guess, and they wouldn't leave until someone was here with me. Uh, so my friend, we took my dog out for a walk, and then we went over to another friend's place for a few hours because I couldn't be where I was at. I had many sleepless nights after that, and I talked to the person I lost all the time. I would see them sitting on the couch. I'd see them at the dining room table. I'd see them in the kitchen. Just for a moment. It was just really, really, really tough. And it took a long time to move past that. And even now, thinking about it gets me really upset. And my voice will crack when I talk about this person. We were very close and confidants. To opposite sides of the gay community. We were totally different, night and day. But I think that's what made it work, as long as it worked. Because I learned things from him, and he learned things from me, and I could ask him anything about his life, and he would tell me. And he'd ask me things, because we were raised differently, totally different life experiences. I was older, he was younger. And I just wonder where he'd be today if he was here. He was a creative, so I'm wondering what he would have done. And I felt sorry for his family. I know they were close. I especially felt sorry for his mother. I just thought that was going to kill her when she found out. And I felt sorry for his friends and just, the world in general, that he's not here anymore. And that was my brush with despair that year. Did I think there was no hope? No, I didn't think that. I'd lost people before. I'd lost both my parents. I'd lost friends before. Back in the 90s, there was this whole thing called AIDS. And I lost people then too. So I know what that's like, to lose someone that you care about. But this one was different. It was really, really bad. So what did I do to overcome it? There's that Christy Lane song that they used in the 70s for some religious campaign called One Day at a Time. And believe it or not, I sang that song a lot. Thinking, well, when am I going to stop feeling this way? And even now, I mean, it's like I said, this is nothing compared to what it was. Things are a lot better now. I started putting this person out of my mind as much as I could. So rather than all day, it would just be 1 or 2 or 3 times a day. I would tear up. And it took months and months to get over that, because everywhere I go, I see him out of the corner of my eye. But there's a song, the song come out tomorrow, from Annie, and I sing that too, because it's true. The sun does come out tomorrow, and no matter how bad it gets, it will get better. The whole Dan Savage thing about coming out gay, that wasn't my story, but when he said, it gets better, and it does. If you are suffering from despair right now, know that it does get better. I mean, it just does. I am happy. I laugh. I sing. You've seen my other videos. I don't seem like, other than cranky, I'm not too down and out. I've learned a lot since then as far as live and let live goes. I mean, I've liked that policy for a long time, but being the bitchy queen I was, I've been judgmental. I admit it. Having had this person in my life, I learned how to listen to other people and what was going on with them and their life experience, And since this person and their friends had so many things that were different from the way I lived and the way I grew up and was raised, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I realized that, everyone has their own path, but there's a lot of paths out there to take. And all of them, if you choose to, will lead up and out of despair. I've been dirt poor. I have had times when I had no idea how I was going to make the payment on the house, um, or how I was going to pay my bills. But I did. It just, I just did. I don't live an extravagant lifestyle by any means. It doesn't mean I wouldn't like to at times, but I don't. Um, and I don't know what that has to do with this, but just know that however low you are right now, there are highs that are waiting for you, and you just need to focus on those. So if you are feeling like there is no hope, and I know a lot of people over the upcoming election feel this way, uh, stop feeling that way. Just don't. Focus on something positive. Turn off the news. Quit reading about the race and how everyone's making a horse race. Someone so far ahead, so far behind, and don't worry about that. Um, you read things about, oh, prices are going up, inflation. How am I going to pay for this? Families are struggling with this. Well, yeah, they are, but it's always been that way, and it probably always will be that way. And you just gotta stop focusing on that. Find something small and little. If you're down and out, I don't know. Look at the leaves of a flower and just think about how they were created and how they're designed and how beautiful it is, or how it smells. If you're an artist, pick up a piece of paper and a pencil or some ink or paint and just put what you're feeling down on paper or on canvas or cardboard or whatever you have, and it's going to make you feel better. It's a way of you to work through this, and you can then see that it's not as bad as you may have thought it was, and things will look up. So don't give up. And I don't know what else I can say on this issue, except, like that old poster with the cat hanging on the wire, hanging their baby. That doesn't really help you much when people tell you to do that. But for me, I do focus on the little things when you get down, and it helps pull you out. And it's okay to feel bad, but if you feel bad all the time, then you should start focusing more on the positive and less on the negative. Everybody feels bad, but it lasts and lasts and lasts. If you can afford to, talk to a therapist. If you can't afford to, I will put an 800 line or an 888 line, or it's a toll-free line, in the description. And it is the National Suicide Hotline, but it's not just suicide. There'll be a phone tree where you can choose if it's a gay and lesbian issue or LGBTQ or not. And whoever answers the phone, they can then hook you up or refer you to someone in your area or someone who will speak to you over the phone to help you work through the issue that you're having. So no, it's not the end. And if you're texting your friends and they're ignoring you, or calling your friends and they're ignoring you because they've heard this before, or because they just don't have an interest in it, well, maybe, well, I'm going to say maybe they're not your friends, but that's a little harsh. I don't know what the backstory is there. So instead, talk to a therapist. Call the number I'm going to leave in the description if you're suffering from too much despair. And just know that it's not going to last forever, and there will be some high points coming up. I don't know what else I can say other than I feel you. If you're there, I mean, I've been pretty close to despair. And the no hope thing, I had a job once that I felt there was no hope, but it wasn't a life thing. It was more like there's just no hope with that job. Um, and that turned out to be true. But that's not really despair, and that's off subject. And I'm probably just saying these things to get myself out of the emotional state that I was in earlier in this video. So I hope everybody heeds, takes in whatever I've said. Just listen to what I said and focus on the positive, focus on the little things. No things are going to change. Nothing stays the same. And I think you'll be able to pull yourself out of the mood that you're currently in, even if it's just for a little bit. And you can feel good, and you can smile, and you can laugh or sing and dance, whatever it is that you do. And just think about you. And I know I talked about self-care in another video. This is self-care too. Don't let the bad thoughts drag you down to the point where that's all you have. Okay? Don't let them win. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for listening. I do appreciate everyone viewing this channel. And try not to cry. I will be in a much different state of mind, and I'll have a different disposition the next time that you see me. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Bye-bye.